Where are we at? Holy. Where we are is in Flint, Michigan. This is where we are. Kind of almost on the ridge. See that? Are there people in there? So these are homes in Flint, Michigan, where we are today. And their water is contaminated here. A couple of kids we met earlier. But these are abandoned homes right here, what you're seeing. It's pretty clean though, but these homes are abandoned. It's pretty interesting to see so many homes abandoned. Condemned. So Digital Smoke Signals is over here in Flint, Michigan to visit some relatives that were here and to share stories of being over at Standing Rock and to acknowledge the people of Flint and our relatives over here that helped Digital Smoke Signals in the very beginning, where it was just me, Digital Smoke Signals by myself. I was there in Standing Rock, and they came down, brought a military tent, and they just started to do the training with the youth there in the camp, and then the women's training, and then the independent media. And then at that time I was checking in hundreds of media that were coming in from all over the world and giving them trainings and protocols from my graduate work in school, and when I work with the youth on the protocols of digital storytelling, when and when not to film. And I get to put it down on a list. And at that time I was working with IN, and Tom had let us let me use his tent to go and put the media center in, which was just a little tent, and it kept getting blown over. And we just continued to empower and show people how to do media at that time, when and not to film at the ceremonies, be respectful, really encourage media to walk around first and meet people and eat at the fires, eat with them and talk to people. And I learned about forced media and crazy media, media that people that they expected us to give them a guide, and that was funny. Just all different types of media that came through. But where we're at here in Flint, they brought over the military tent, and I got to use it maybe only a month, and then I put it up and donated it up there at the North Camp to be used at the North Camp, which was overtaken, besieged. And what we seen from the photos is that the tent was damaged and cut up, and so that was really hard to see, but when you're at war, that was actually the under siege part, is you see that everything was under siege there. So we're at this is interesting where we're at. This whole street has homes like this. And we just came from over here, which is the House of Hope. Now that's a pastor's home. We did an interview with the pastor over there, Pastor Bobby, and a few of the people over there. Shared their story, and we're going to continue to go and share our relative stories down the road. Yeah, kind of a scary home, huh, guys? All these homes are abandoned, steps. I'm not sure about my transmission. I don't know if you guys just heard that. At one point, it sounded like my transmission is going. You hear that? Sounds like the transmission going out. So we got all right, let's go Ed Higgins. We're Ed Higgins and Tina in the background editing. Did a lot of interviews. Do you want to share a little bit, Tina, what you were doing today?
Well, we went to the farmer's market earlier, and it was kind of surprising. We were trying to talk to people, and no one really wanted to go on camera because of all the controversy. We got not kicked out. They told us we couldn't film at the water distribution center.
Make a U-turn and proceed to Robert Street.
And so I was just curious about how everyone was feeling about what was going on, and it was surprising how many people.
In 900 feet, turn left onto East Stewart Avenue.
It's like if it's not immediate, I don't know, if like someone died, if a child died in my hometown, it would affect me.
Yeah.
Like, and so it just kind of blew our minds that no one really, a lot of people felt like they weren't a part of this because their pipes weren't technically affected.
Yeah, they felt they weren't a part of it because their pipes were technically affected. What'd you think, Ed Higgins in the house?
Ed Higgins, yeah, so I think that's absolutely ridiculous that they would think that. We are all connected, and some people don't even see that connection. They don't even care because they don't see it. So they've been colonized for so long, they think, oh, well, you know, my household's okay, so it doesn't affect me. Well, if you have half your population disappear, and you have, you know, your house prices go down, you have your jobs go away, that affects everyone. And for people not to realize the connection there, it befuddles me. I'm absolutely confused. I was just like Tina. I was like, really? Like, mind blown.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, you got to really find a way to connect with them. Yeah, it was interesting, guys. The story, talking with the pastor today, too.
Yes.
A little bit. He's got
Pastor Bobby Jackson.
Bobby Jackson, been doing amazing work here with the people. And you know, they provide water. A place to eat, a place to wash your clothes, a place to have a library, a place to come pray, and he had a banner also with that they brought back from Standing Rock that we also signed and left a picture with him, and he fed us and took care of us and gave us a little gift bag and a travel pack bag, and everyone here was nice. Everyone who was here, you know, it's I ran into one indigenous person, which is my relative, but it's predominantly black here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I felt bad. We were treated really good, but it's just a ghost town here. There's hardly anybody here in this area. We're in this street. Take a look at this. There's like really nobody here. There's people on this street, but on this side, this is where they're all abandoned. And this street's abandoned. Mm-hmm. And this house over here on the other side is abandoned, and the whole block.
You hardly see cars going by.
So we also talked a little bit about the process. So the issues were similar here as they were at Standing Rock. If you give a people in poverty this much resources, they hoard. The hoarding spirit comes out, he said. And we do some contrast and compare into things like that about the hoarding, about if you're in poverty and what they've seen. And so he just shared a few of those scenarios that they talked about and the similarities if your community is struggling, and the tools they need, not just the resources, but the tools to do it themselves so they're not dependent on someone else. And I was like, wow, you guys, it really sounds like the res. It really sounds like, you know, this is a carbon copy of the area we went to. We also gave some good advice. He said, you know, make sure your people become part of the legislature down there in the state of North Dakota. Make sure that they participate in what happens to that pipeline. If it went through by force, and there was almost nothing you can do because of that. He says, but you can be part of the political process and make sure that you have eyes on it, and that they put that in the legislature. It seems like the governor is really a big part of the oil pipeline, and you know, so make sure you have eyes on there. And write yourself in there some way, shape, or form. Make sure you're a part of that process where they analyze it, and there's some statistics in there somewhere. So I thought that was very good of him to say that, and how he said to do it. And and so someone's gonna have to create a job. They're gonna be around it. That should be the Environmental Protection Agency, or maybe the Cultural Monitor, or maybe who knows, that goes with that job. So we're getting ready to go on the road again and head to another I want to say action. It's not an action, but it is an action in the area. It's the head of the pipeline, where an indigenous group is staying strong, and they were there before Standing Rock, holding ground before Standing Rock. And I really want to see and get a little bit more of what's going on, since we're familiar already with the Dakota Access Pipeline. But I met this individual there, that she came down and was sharing about Iowa, and I was so caught in the mix of so many things on Facebook Kill that I did not get to fully sit and communicate and talk about Iowa, that's what I'm going to do this time. And then we got to get back on the road, and it's a hit and miss and touch. Hitting this for 8 months straight, it's time to go home. It's time to be with family, and it's time to make sure I spiritually reconnect. We're talking like I'm a third person here. It's time that I reconnect, and our team, and because you can do this every single day, 24/7. And I remember thinking, and when I was in my undergrad, I was environmental research assistant for 3
Turn right onto
which was Haskell, KU, and Haskell Indian Nations University, the University of Kansas, and K-State. And I felt like this work never ends, but it also prepped me for the work that I'm doing now throughout Indian country. And Brenda Brandon was my boss as a student, and also Dan Wildcat over there at Haskell Indian Nation University, Ray Parati and his companion over there at the University of Kansas. And I got a lot of help from them in my technology background. They gave me all the resources I need to do what I do today with you guys right now. And so all you guys that are doing labor of love for your professors, it's not all for nothing. It does pay off down the road. But here we are right here, cruising by this community. It is really,
it's like a ghost town.
Completely like everyone's gone, everyone's home on vacation. It's really a ghost down here. Look at the playground right there. I don't see one kid over there playing. So just give you guys a front row of Flint, Michigan here. This is intense. Look at that, guys. Yep. Yep. So one of the guys we interviewed, stopped interviewing him. He said this Flint, Michigan was the richest city in the country at one time.
And so we were talking to one girl outside, and she said, father that led us into the mission of hope.
in a quarter of a mile, turn left onto Horton
Pastor
Avenue.
Bobby Jackson.
Pastor Bobby Jackson took us into the city or the mission of hope, and his pipes, his water got turned off because the roads were so high.
So the other thing Pastor Bobby said is that they dump garbage here in town, and they come out here and dump garbage. I mean, we seen on the other side it was clean. It is very clean, but people will come out here and dump their garbage. So Tina was just sharing about that before the water crisis, they had jacked up the prices. One of the people she interviewed was sharing with her, and that Pastor Bobby didn't pay his water bill, and because of that, his pipes were protected, and so he's got good drinking water from his, and he didn't realize it was a blessing at the time. But it's like a scary movie here, like Children of the Corn.
It is. This is like Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead here. This was where you can do the first episode, The Walking Dead. Nobody here. You guys are witnessing Flint, Michigan, guys. This is Flint, Michigan.
Oh, look, there's a greenhouse celebrating the life of Caroline Meekins, the edible Flint food garden tour.
A food garden right here.
Cool.
It's a start.
And right over there is the water tank.
So the pasture, Bobby also has. They started a little food garden with.
Turn left onto Water Avenue.
They just use the rain as the water. And here's the famous Flint, Michigan.
House for sale, lead included. Look at this sign up
What
here.
does it say? Oh, let me get out. Can I see?
Yeah, you got to get that picture.
Lead included.
Yep.
Hang on, guys.
House for sale, lead included.
Oh my God. No way.
Wow, look at that.
Wow. That's nuts.
House for sale, lead included. All right, relatives, I'm gonna get off for now. Just an update on Flint, Michigan. Even though they had hard times, they helped Standing Rock. A lot of the people came down that had the water issues here, knew what to expect. They also have, from what we understand, is filtration systems coming in from all the water protectors that are here. They're in the homes, and there's also what we found out is people have been coming up here and help fundraising for filtration systems for Standing Rock. So something else, you know, there's a lot of cooperation here. A lot of people have water issues, similar issues of protecting the water, and we spoke with several people who know of people coming up this way and going back down that way, and just sharing information and sharing each other's struggles and the solutions to get out of those struggles.
Yeah. We're going to do a hip hop for Flint, where they have a whole bunch of hip hop acts.
Men's training, and then the independent media, and then at that time I was checking in hundreds of media that were coming in from all over the world and giving them trainings and protocols from my graduate work in school, and when I work with the youth on the protocols of digital storytelling, when and when not to film. And I get to put it down on a list. And at that time I was working with IN, and Tom had let us let me use his tent to go in and put the media center in, which was just a little tent, and it kept getting blown over. And we just continued to empower and show people how to do. Condemned. So Digital Smoke Signals is over here in Flint, Michigan, to visit some relatives that were here and to share stories of being over at Standing Rock, and to acknowledge the people of Flint and our relatives over here that helped Digital Smoke Signals in the very beginning, where it was just me, Digital Smoke Signals by myself. I was there in Standing Rock, and they came down, brought a military tent, and they just started to do the training with the youth there in the camp. And then the women, kind of almost on the res. See that? Hey, hey, oh, hey. Kima. Where are we at? Holy. Where we are is in Flint, Michigan. This is where we are. Hey, oh, hey. Hey, hey, oh, hey. Are there people in there? So these are homes in Flint, Michigan, where we are today. And their water is contaminated here. A couple of kids we met earlier. But these are abandoned homes right here, what you're seeing. It's pretty clean though, but these homes are abandoned. It's pretty interesting to see so many homes abandoned.